CJ is back, y'all. We've been doing some crazy testings with this guy. His whole kit has been completely reworked, and now he is in KvK2, and he is really freaking good. Now, might not be the meta in the end game. However, he is very serviceable. And for you young players, you need to understand what this guy does. You need to know who to run him with. We need to go through the talents. We need to go through all the things with CJ right here. Welcome everybody back in. I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. I put out videos all the time. You know this. And I do streams all the time. And I am ingrained in the community, love the community, and we have built such a cool thing around the channel here. And if you want to join that community, you can check out my Discord. The link is in the description. And if you like any of the videos or the streams that I do, be sure to throw a thumbs up. It helps out the channel. And if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. It doesn't cost anything, and it really helps out the channel. We pushed through 30,000 subscribers. The channel has blown up in 6 months. It's absolutely great. I hope I'm providing everybody good content, good value for what's going on, and I can't appreciate it enough. And so part of the conversations we get into, and we did a lot of testing with this, is that CJ was completely reworked on his kit. Kit is completely reworked. He is now a smite commander. Now, he always was a field commander, which means a lot of people have him because he was on the wheel. So in the end game, a lot of people have him, and a lot of people have heads in him. Like, look at me. I've almost got this guy maxed. And I think I've spun him a few times. I think I just added some commander sculptures when I had him. And now that we've tested him and we've gone through it, he is viable in the end game. And I'm going to explain it to you here in a few. But let's go through this kit and let's really try to figure this thing out. Because what I think you guys are going to find out is that smite, and part of that is with the enhancement of pincer, the most meta formation there is. With the enhancement of pincer, the commander of any smite commander is being enhanced in quite a huge way. And so with that, let's go through here and look at this, okay? This is also, we need to keep this in mind. He does not have a museum buff yet. So once he gets that, because he'll eventually get that. He's a KvK2 commander now. Once he gets that, we'll see what other enhancements he gets. But let's just look at it right now. Okay, he's a 3-target AoE 1500. Okay, it is really, really good on the smite damage. There's so many different ways with the pincer formation to enhance smite. Okay, much like the BQ guide that I just did recently, this is the same thing. I mean, anytime you're able to use the pincer formation, the smite commanders are really going to be enhanced. 1500 damage factor, it's not game breaking, it's not meta, but it's really, really good, especially in the early game in KvK2. Okay, you do it up to 3 targets. You have a little bit of a nerf there for multiple targets. And if those targets are under 30% units remaining, you'll silence them for a second. That's a little extra bonus, nothing groundbreaking with that, but it's a little extra help. Okay, his second skill is really, really good. 40% attack is a lot, especially in KvK2. 15% march speed is good, and so he has those good passive stat sticks that we like. Okay, his third skill, this is really, really potent, extremely valuable. I hate the cooldown, but anytime you take skill damage, smite damage, or combo damage, you have a 50% chance to reduce the damage by 50%. That is really, really good. You know, we talk about Saladin. He's got one of the weirdest, most broken, where's he at? Most broken skills in the game, where he just does a straight skill damage reduction of 30%. If you're in Heroic Anthem KvK with support skills, you can put this on here. If you're in a Orleans KvK with auxiliary skills, you can put it on your Garrison or Rally. It's really, really good, especially when going against skill damage rallies and garrisons. But this is all encompassing, not just skill damage. Smite damage or combo damage. Whatever you take, he can decrease that by 50%, which is really, really good. And so the cooldown of 10 seconds just drives me nuts, but it's still a really good skill, okay? You go over here to his fourth skill. This is really good. First of all, he's got a 15% enhancement to normal damage, which is awesome. That normal damage is like all damage to him, because normal damage enhances the smite damage. We've talked about this many times. Okay, smite damage is affected by bonuses to normal damage. Awesome. Okay, so we go over here to the 4th skill. He gets 15% more normal damage. I don't have that maxed out quite yet. Whenever it launches a basic attack against a field troop, it has a 100% chance to cleanse 1 debuff from itself. If the debuff has multiple stacks, like Herman's poison stacks, it'll cleanse 1 stack. But 1 debuff is great. Like if you get hit by a CPO, and CPO puts his 30% health debuff on you, on CJ, he's gonna cleanse that. That's out. It's done. Gone. And so with that, it is really, really good. The cooldown on here is really, really short. That's awesome. And so he does have a cool cleanse that comes with that. If anybody puts a smite damage debuff on you, if anybody puts a health debuff, an attack debuff, you know, an all damage debuff, whatever it is, he can cleanse that. That's really, really good. I like the cleansing factor of that. Okay, then his expertise goes back to his 3rd skill. Okay, it goes back to his 3rd skill, and not only is he going to be able to do this to where he has a 50% chance to reduce the damage by 50% of the skill damage, smite damage, and combo damage. He's also going to kick back damage. Okay, and this is where he starts to become pretty good. Okay, because now he's kicking back damage pretty much every other active skill with a 10-second cooldown, and he's kicking back more damage. And this is really, really good. And so from that standpoint, CJ has some instant procs that are really good with this, some kickback smite procs that are really good with this, and he also has obviously his active skill. So in KvK2, this dude is phenomenal. He is great. Okay, and so when you run this guy, you can run him a couple of different ways. I'll get into the pairings in a few, but let's talk about him when he's a primary commander. If you're running him in Canyon, this is your Canyon lineup. Okay, much like BQ. Okay, because in Canyon, you're going to be targeted and you're going to be able to maximize hold the line. And in Canyon, you're going to be targeted and you're going to be able to stay in the fight and you're going to be able to ramp up your smite. So that's your Canyon lineup, okay? You love the rage here, you love the health here, you love the damage to calves here, and then you love the full smite tree. I love the full smite tree, especially this. Fight or flight, one of the best talents in the game. No matter who you hit, he's got a 3-target AoE on his smite. If you hit somebody with smite, you take 45 rage from them. Smite or rage mitigation is absolutely great. And so with that, that is what you're looking at for Canyon. Okay, in the field, it's really simple, and I'm going to do this with you. We're going to go get the health over here. We're going to run full smite over here. Okay, we're not going to do this because there's so much back and forth fighting that you don't need to do that. We're going to do this, okay? And I think we're going to run that to 3, and then from there, we're going to skip hold the line, and we're going to come over here. You need the march speed, okay? So we're going to grab 6% march speed over here. We're going to grab 6% march speed here. We're going to grab 6% march speed here. That is massive, okay? 18% march speed, that's great. Then we're going to hit this because normal damage enhances all of our smite damage, like all damage for us, and that's your field build. Easy cheesy. Let's go rock and roll. Let's be fast in the field. Let's maximize the smite tree, and we are crushing it. So that gives you an idea of how we are going to lay out the talent trees for CJ. Okay. Now from there, let's talk about the armaments really. And so when you get into this, let's go over here to Pincer. Okay. And we'll hit this. Pincer, you can run these special inscriptions if you can get them. But regardless of if you just get special inscriptions or normal inscriptions, you automatically get a 10% more smite damage buff on Pincer. Pincer is just broken. And as you add the rare inscriptions, doesn't even have to be special inscriptions. These rare inscriptions are fantastic. Okay. Imploder is just a dumbed down version of Toppler. It's really, really good. Raider is one of the best rare inscriptions you can get in the game. It's a 2% boost to smite damage. And whenever you deal smite damage, you got a 50% chance to gain 20% rage for the next 3 seconds. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you're dealing smite damage all the time. However, the cooldown kind of sucks, okay? This is the only part of the Pincer tree I really don't like. This is a Attila Subotai counter, you know, with the 5% combo attack damage resistance, and then even the rare 4% attack damage resistance. It's not that big of a deal in the field. unless Arthur's hitting you, but there's just not that many combo commanders in the field. Then over here, if you can get rattling and you can run a 4% boost to smite damage dealt, that's awesome. That is awesome. And then thundering, of course, 10% boost, out of control good. So the pincer really, really helps CJ and really any and all commanders, okay? So I've talked about the investment before of KvK2. What you invest in the game. And the original investment was, hey, Alex and YSG are kind of the two commanders you can carry into SOC. But now, here's the proclamation. CJ is going to be more valuable than Alex in the end game. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. However, CJ performs better with Luce than Alex does. Okay, Alex has been great for so long, but with Pincer, and now that you have two smite commanders instead of just running a CJ or a Luce Alex, now you have Luce with CJ and you have two smite commanders. The pincer really enhances that, and he becomes a better production situation than Alex. He's going to do more. He's going to produce more. He's going to be better. He's going to help your field better. So I would say CJ is a must-have in KvK2. Must-have. You got to go get him, and he'll translate into the end game. Okay, because you can run CJ. If you run like a 3 infantry march or a 3 infantry situation, you go Ragnar CPO, then you're going to run like what, BQ Wallace, and then you can run CJ with Luce. And when you first get into SOC, okay, you don't have Ragnar, you don't have CPO. The first time in KvK3 you're able to swap commanders, you can get both CJ and Alex. And if you get them both, then all of a sudden you're able to swap for BQ and Luce, and then you have two insanely good smite marches. You run BQ with CJ, and then you can run Luce with, where is Luce? You can run Luce with Alex, okay? And so CJ has become a priority in KvK2, and he's a commander you don't even have to swap for. You don't even have to swap out. You can run him when you first get into KvK3 into Season of Conquest, okay? And so that's why this guy is really, really good. Let's talk about these pairings, and let's talk about them in KvK2 and then in SOC. Okay, first and foremost, it's him with Pyrrhus. Okay, where is my Pyrrhus? He's around here somewhere. There he is. Okay, Pyrrhus is really, really good. He's an amplifier, okay? If you can get Pyrrhus like 5-5-1-1, okay, you can run CJ behind him and have a really good time with that. You're going to deal damage. He does a direct damage factor, which is really good, okay? But then you get the enhancement of 20% more normal damage. This enhances smite damage. That's CJ. You put CJ behind this guy, and all of a sudden, Pyrrhus is going to be doing damage plus enhancing CJ. Okay, you come into his second skill, you get 10% health, you get 15% march speed, and then you get 20% more normal damage outside of Alliance territory. That's crazy good. Like, we might be looking at a Pyrrhus CJ rally situation in KvK2. It's really, really good. This commander's troops on the map, you get 20% more attack, and whenever their troop launches a basic attack, it's a 10% chance to gain a damage absorbing shield for 3 seconds, and it's a 500 damage factor. That's not insane in the end game, but in KvK2, that can work. That can work. That's pretty good, okay? And the attack bonus is good. This commander's troops deal 20% less skill damage, okay? You want to do this commander's troops take 20% less skill damage. That's great. Especially in KvK2, a lot of people are running Sun Tzu, a lot of people are running Ethel and YSG and Saladin and all these different commanders. You're going to take 20% less skill damage. That's really good. And then you deal 10% more damage if you have a shield. Well, you're going to have a shield for 3 seconds every time this fires off. Cooldown of 8 seconds. Okay, so that's just an enhancement from the third skill. And then his expertise, whenever this commander's troop is hit with a basic attack, it has a 10% chance to reduce the attacker's attack by 30% for 3 seconds. That's not insanely good. It's very good maybe in a rally, okay? But it's not insanely good as an expertise. So you can run Pyrrhus like 5-5-5-1 or 5-5-1-1 in KvK2. You can put CJ behind him and then go wreck. That is a busted good KvK2 march. Now, the other good KvK2 march that you can run is CJ. Of course, we've gone through his stuff with Alex. Okay, now the synergies aren't quite there because Alex doesn't do any smite. All right, but Alex does a lot of things that really help. And he's just so good in KvK2 that a CJ Alex pairing would be really good with Pincer, especially, even though Alex doesn't do smite damage. He does his direct damage proc that he's always done. He mitigates the healing, which is great in K2. A lot of people run Richard, a lot of people run Constantine, and it's really good to negate that healing. And then from here, you've got obviously the shield that he does for 1200 damage factor, which is really good. And then this is probably still to this day, up to 3 nearby enemy troops take 30% more damage for 4 seconds. Still one of the best debuffs in the game. It is so good. Okay, then you come over here, super fast infantry march speed, a lot of attack. You get a funny situation here. When you don't have a shield, you get 40% more attack. When you do have a shield, you get 30% defense, and that comes from his active skill, obviously, where he drops the shield, and then his expertise that's enhanced. That's enhanced his active skill, and that's what his expertise is. It basically enhances that, and everybody knows that. So CJ with Alex, great KvK2 march. If you want to invest in those 2 commanders, you can. I think a plan, and I'll probably do a video about it, is that if you are investing in commanders in early game, okay, CJ and Alex are like the top 2 you invest in, because you can swap for instant max commanders in KvK3. And when you swap, you want to swap your CC. You want to swap, your Martel. You want to swap your one of your commanders you got gold keys on and you've ramped up. You can swap those for BQ and Luce, and then all of a sudden you show up in KvK3, or you show up in Season of Conquest after KvK3 with a BQ CJ and a Luce Alex March, which is amazing. Like, you're ready to go. And so from that standpoint, that's why the value is there of K2. Now, we talked about this a little bit with our BQ guide. BQ with CJ is fantastic. We ran this, we tested it, we did it. The enhancement on the smite is amazing. The pincer stuff is amazing. BQ with CJ really works. It does really well. Now, what's even crazier about this is that BQ with CJ, number one, BQ is so powerful. CJ is good enough that you could run him with BQ. Another reason why this is really good is you can run Luce with BQ, no problem. A lot of people are now running Luce with CJ. I'm sorry, you run Luce with CJ. A lot of people are running Luce with CJ because CJ is going to perform better than Alex. It's crazy to think about. And there's not a ton of players out there that just have CJ instantly maxed, but if you do, you're going to get better benefit if you run CJ instead of Alex with Luce. Okay, I know it sounds crazy because Luce Alex has been so good for so long. But if you look at this, it makes sense, okay? Because you're doubling up the smite damage, which gets enhanced by the pincer formation, okay? And that's really what drives this thing and makes it go. But if you look at this overall, you've got the stat sticks we talked about. You've got this this proc chance to mitigate damage. And then when you launch a basic attack, you have a 100% chance to cleanse, okay? And then when you do this over here, of course, you've got the smite AoE kickback damage that he does. But back to the cleanse real quick, this is a 100% chance, okay? And so you're gonna fire this thing off every 4 seconds. It cleanses all the different things. You run more normal damage, that helps Luce, and CJ really does well. He just does really good. And so with that being said, a lot of people would say, hey, would you run CJ primary or would you run LC primary? You could go either way. Okay, LC primary gives you the attack tree, but all of a sudden now, if you run CJ primary, and that's probably how I should have it right here. I should probably change that up where I've got Luce primary, then CJ. It probably should be CJ primary because of this right here. This is amazing. CJ hits 3 targets. They take 45 less rage. They get 45 rage taken away from them on that second, and then LC hits 5 targets and then takes 45 rage away from them. LC is always going to do better with a smite tree. He always is. So that might be a situation where we run CJ with LC secondary. But you can run it either way. But I'm just saying that's probably the most efficient you can get. When we talked about BQ with CJ, so there's in-game possibilities here, there's early game possibilities here, and it works out really well. So that's your kind of hit on CJ. I've been really impressed with how they did it. Listen, he used to be a skill damage commander, and his skills did not look like this Okay, he was a single target skill damage. He had some instant procs and kickback damage, but he was nowhere near as good now. So not only is he good, but now with Pincer and anything with Smite is massively enhanced because of the Pincer formation. He starts to become in play when you get into the late game. You can literally put him with another Smite commander and go rock and roll. You can put this guy with William Wallace and go rock and roll. And so from that standpoint, he is a good he's a great investment in K2. I had one of my 300 members, Nico, he's awesome. This guy's great. He's like, Chad, I've got this account. Let's take a look. We open it up and I'm like, bro, CJ, you're in K2 right now. Let's go. And he's like, I'm in. He hammers out CJ and he's going to wreck with him. CJ and K2 off the charts. And then he's on that path to say, okay, I have CJ Alex. When I get to my commander swap in KvK3, I will swap out for BQ and Luce, and I'm running 2 insanely good infantry smite marches and BQ CJ and Luce and Alex. And it's a really easy path for early game players. So that's how that's going to work. Appreciate everybody's feedback. If you have a comment, drop it below. Okay, drop it below. I'm going to have, at the end screen, I'm going to have CJ testing, okay, and what we saw from him. And you guys are going to get to see that firsthand. It was really, really good in what we saw. And if you have any other comments or anything, be sure to join my Discord. Throw them up in my Discord channel, and we'll go through those. It's really, really great to see the feedback from everybody, and I'll make sure to respond to as many comments right here on YouTube as I can. And with that being said, we'll get out of here. Hope you guys have a great day, broskies.